In the 1990s, American theater had something of a golden age. The grimy theaters of the 1980s with 1 or 2 screens were being replaced by the megaplex, a gigantic colossus of a movie theater with several screens. Now theaters were bigger and had more screens playing more movies, and as a result, they needed more movies to play. Film historians have accredited this to one of the factors behind the resurgence of indie films in the 90s. Alright. Theaters were able to take bets on movies that not everybody wanted to see because it wasn't the only movie playing. This all culminated in 1999, which some people argue was the best year for American film ever, with these hits like The Matrix, Fight Club, Being John Malkovich, American Beauty, kinda cringe in retrospect, Eyes Wide Shut. The list goes on and on and on. And the reason that some of the biggest blockbusters of the time were able to sit with some of the weirdest indie movies ever is because the megaplex allowed for Hollywood to produce and put out more films. What does this have to do with fashion? Just bear with me. The 90s were also the era of the franchise. Most major movie studios were trying to develop some kind of franchise that they could invest a lot of money in and make a sequel and, bet that people were going to go and see it. Interestingly, Disney at the time didn't really have a franchise at the beginning of the 90s. The 1980s were kind of the dud years for Disney before they entered their next golden era with the start of The Little Mermaid, leading into all those other movies that everybody's seen and loved. The advent of the internet, DVDs, all these other options for people to be entertained at their house forced movie theaters to have to change the system again. They needed a way to get people into the theater instead of watching something at home. And as a result, these huge movie studios started to bet more and more on franchises. Disney, of course, now being the owner of Marvel and Star Wars, is basically the kingpin of franchises, of taking huge bets on movies they know will perform well and basically just churning out more and more sequels. And the reason that these movies do so well is intertextuality. Now, what does this have to do with fashion? I told you to chill, because I'm getting there. In its literal definition, intertextuality is when one text is shaped by another. Cultural critic and first person to really write about fashion, Roland Barthes, argued that the concept of meaning of a text does not reside in the text, but is reproduced by the reader in relation not only to the text in question, but also the complex network of text invoked in the reading process. Put another way by contemporary cultural critic and disliker of fashion, Chuck Klosterman, all text is just a superstructure for subtext. What does this mean? What does this have to do with Balenciaga and Gucci? I feel like this intro part is only 2 minutes tops, so you need to learn to chill. Well, people go to see the Avengers movies because it's got all the characters and references from all the other movies superimposed on top of all the references to the comic books. These movies are sometimes criticized for pandering to the audience, showing them something familiar to evoke emotion only that can exist assuming that they are familiar with the other very popular texts. This is why Disney is able to make a 27th Marvel movie, because they think their audience will be more inclined to see a combo of things that they've seen in the past. This is how intertextuality works. You're more interested as you get more and more invested. And the movies get more and more lazy by just referencing the other ones. Hell, the last 3 Star Wars were basically just a rework of the first Star Wars. Fashion, like movies, is big and expensive. The auteurs of the past are more and more pushed out for safer choices in these huge budget operations. It's something intertextuality victim Raf Simons has complained about on multiple occasions. Raf has been traded around from fashion house to fashion house, not just because his resume, not just because like these corporations think, oh, well, he's really good at the job of being a creative director. He probably is. I'm sure they interview him and ask for references or whatever. The reason that Raf is traded around is because of intertextuality. Because when he prints something on a Calvin Klein garment and he's the creative director, you're gonna think, oh, it's just like Riot, 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 or something of that nature. Oh, it's just like that other thing that I love. Congratulations. We have entered the era of Avengers fashion. Raf Simons has recently joined the iconic fashion house of Prada to work side by side by iconic designer Miuccia Prada. Prada's house has not been struggling. They sell well. Miuccia Prada's designs are critically acclaimed. Yes, Miuccia and Raf have had a relationship for years. Yes, they have similar philosophies about art and fashion. Yes, they have similar design styles. But just from a business perspective, why would you hire 2 cooks with the same skills to lead? Why would you hire 2 of the same thing when they're very similar? To make a fashion Avengers, guys, to make the collections even more unmissable, because you can see the references from your favorite Raf shows or your favorite Prada shows. When Raf cries in the Prada runway, you go, oh, it's just like that movie I saw Dior and I saw that in a movie. He's doing it again here. What a sick reference. And then like the audience gets up and claps or like cheers. And it's like, this is cringe. Why are you cheering at a projection? These people don't like you. They can't even hear you. Sit down so I can finish watching the whole movie. Recently, Gucci released their newest collection runway, which is very surprising because it features a lot of Demna's designs at Balenciaga. It features Balenciaga's logo, period. It features silhouettes and designs that are so very Demna-esque. This collection, at least on its face, is very unusual because while collaborations are becoming more and more popular with high fashion houses, we've never seen 2 high fashion houses create something together like this. The earnest creativity and artistic merit of the collection is unfortunately a side effect. It's a side effect of big budget conglomerate Kering, which owns both Gucci and Balenciaga, building their very own Kering extended universe. That's what's going on here. We all loved Alessandro's Gucci, very romantic. We all loved the gritty realism of Balenciaga starring Demna. What if they teamed up? One of the most important factors that makes this collection different is that Demna of Balenciaga, it was not involved in the design process. He gave his blessings to Alessandro and the Gucci team, but he didn't actually assist in the designs. So maybe one of the most charitable viewings of this collection is to think of it like an artist might do a study of another artist. They might try to replicate their own work. And in the process of doing so, you discover some of the other artists' techniques. You discover some of the nuances that make their works. And maybe you uncover more of your own personal style and technique and process. You know, I'm sure there is something very interesting in terms of how Gucci reconstructed, how it actually constructed from patterning to draping a piece that was originally by Balenciaga. But the reality is that this is more a marketing ploy in my mind. At the end of the day, Kering and all huge fashion collections are as precarious as huge movies. And faced with the same complications from the internet, where people have so many more options for fashion, for entertainment, they need to leverage their brand names even more. And the only way to do so is to literally start combining them. Gucci, Balenciaga, everything on top of each other, because people with access to the internet are getting more niche, more specific needs filled. So Kering sees this as the only way to potentially continue to invest in huge productions that are fashion shows. And I won't be surprised if we see a lot more of this in the future, a lot more of this intertextuality of fashion in order to sell, and not just like collabs where we see two creative processes mixing, like literally different intellectual properties owned by one group and then putting them all on top of each other. Video end. Thank you everybody who watched till the end. To my patrons, thank you so much. Being patient with me as I work on my new job and still try to create content. More stuff to come, and I love you guys.